So, looking at it, starting the year off, can we talk a little bit about like the training that's already been going on and how that's going to kind of benefit the guys that are coming in now?
Yeah, I've been running the group since October 1. Even before that, we're doing off-season, preseason stuff, getting ready. But, a group of 45, 50 kids, even before we get the 20-something football players, and that includes our girls, but they get a good, if you look at it there, they got a good 6 weeks without those guys in there. And I really, every single day we were on the grind practicing. You were in there too. We took no days off. We took advantage of every single practice, and we were preparing, for that deep playoff run, preparing to not have our kids for the first tournament or the first duel. And it just so happened it didn't go that way. And now that we got them all in here on Monday, just to adapt and overcome and adjust and run them the way we run them. It's crazy.
Yeah, the dynamics of the room definitely changed. Them guys get back in there. You know what I mean?
It did. I know it did, but I knew it would going in. I knew as soon as we got them, the dynamic would change. But I was nervous about it. Just bringing them in the first place, I didn't know how the football season would end. But then the way it did end, I was nervous on Monday just to see kind of how the kids would react, how they'd respond, how practice would go, who would be where, and just, I don't know, they did exactly what I thought they would, though. They came in there, down in the dirt a little bit. Hell, we all are. We wanted to win that game really, really bad. And, I don't know, we just took the mindset we always take, get back on the grind. And that's what I told them, that's my advice, is just handle heartbreak as you just go back to work. I don't know if kids did that. I know kids that were in there Saturday morning after a Friday night, and that's fine. That's fine. And kids in there just today for the first time, trying to heal back up after Friday night, and that's fine too. As a coach, I've learned to grow and adapt and try to treat each kid individually. In the end, it's a team and you have to fall together, but wrestling's one of them sports where there's so much demanded of you that you can you can give some kids some leniency on the intensity. I didn't expect those kids to come in Monday morning and be like, Coach, I'm ready to rip heads off, and some of them did, but then some of them, you kind of got to ease them into it and get them going and tell them everything's going to be okay. Yeah. Tell them you love them. I told a lot of kids I love them over the weekend just because, they said Friday sucked.
Let's talk about some of the new faces we got in wrestling this year. They're not really even new faces. Some they're 8th graders, but they're high schoolers now. They're freshmen now.
Yeah, Talon coming up and wrestling for the high school is tremendous. He's going to make an immediate impact wherever he is in the lineup and be contending for a state title. I feel like he's that good of a wrestler as a freshman.
Yeah, he can go.
He'll make an immediate impact, and then Hudson. Yeah. And Hudson's kind of one of those things where that dude just turned 15 years old yesterday and played every single varsity football snap. And, he's going to be a fantastic junior high heavyweight, weighing right around 230. And then when he competes for the high school, it'll be, see if he gets naturally down to around 215 or if we just hang out at that heavyweight and wrestle some heavyweight there. Those are two really good freshmen. And then Braxton. I was watching Braxton today. Braxton will make an immediate impact in the lineup, and Braxton is a really, really talented wrestler. He probably has more talent than most of the people into the room. Just got to be able to put it all together as a freshman now, and he can do it. He has state championship type caliber wrestling as a freshman too. Now can we put the mentality and the mindset behind it and get it done? And then Kaysen, Kaysen is...
I was watching him go today too, man.
He can go. He's really, really good. He can wrestle. He's a great technical wrestler. He's good at just finding a way to win matches. He's Meyer. The Meyer dudes know how to win matches. And him and Ritson just be fun. I'm glad to be able to coach them on the same team some this year. And I think that'll be really interesting. And just watching them in the first few practices, they compete against each other even in practice. And that's a good little group of freshmen right there. And then you add in Luke Williams and Junior and Jacob Jackson, the Dill brothers. And I know I'm forgetting other people just out of that kind of freshman group right there, but like that's a squad. Them dudes can all wrestle. Thomas Finley, like he's a good little freshman wrestler. And just that whole group, there's a bunch of them in that class. And kids like Luke and Junior will be looking to make an impact on the lineup and help out as one of them kids where, we just need you in there to pull your weight and get things done. And I'm excited to see how their season progresses. And had some of the freshmen like Grayson and Junior and Luke and them already, because they got out of football after that last week. Right. They kind of had that option to go ahead and go to your different sport, which is good. If you're not, they didn't have really any kind of impact on the football at that point, and it was just go get ready for your next sport. And I appreciate being able to do that, especially with those freshmen, because they get to compete at junior high level. So it's important for them to be able to get ready and go, because our junior high will go to Shawnee Duels right off the bat. And I mean, that's tough. That's about as tough as it gets. Shawnee Duels, and we're taking a big team to JLC this year, right? We'll try to take just our squad that wants to go junior high wise to compete at JLC this year. We have several kids kind of right around that 15U area, like Ritson was last year. And, I just urge people to go compete at tournaments like that. The competition's always great. Yeah. It's just, that's good for our club, especially, we came off 2 weekends of youth wrestling already, 2 Saturdays in a row. And we've already had 75, 80 kids go wrestle between those 2 tournaments. So it's a really good thing to see as far as just participation. And that gets into a whole different level. You saw how many kids were in the room this morning. Yeah, it was wild, man. It's the most I think we've ever had as far as like for a practice. And if you went in there, you would be like, 3 or 4 teams here? It's what I kind of just got to grasp. And normally when we are full, we can drill pretty well, but live wrestling gets a little tough. We had a hard time drilling even today just because the mat space was so taken. Yeah. But it's good. We worked around it. We found a way to get all them kids some work in and get it done. There was definitely no room for another team to show up and practice. No, I was thinking about that. And in the past, we've had teams show up. Yeah, we've had Christmas practices with other teams show up, and then Casey's team likes to come over and practice. And just now it'd be one of them points where if we have to do that, I need to start rostering practice, who can come to practice, who can come to certain practices, just because of space liability, and that's fine. That's cool to see that we've grown as a team that far where, like I said, in practice, it's a privilege to come to practice now. So that's good. Some of the new faces, though. Crabtree was in there today, I seen. Yeah, Andre Crabtree, just a senior coming over, and I tried to get him to wrestle since he was a 6th grader, and he said to me during just a couple of weeks ago, said, "Coach, I want to come to wrestling this year, and I'd like to be a part of the team, travel with you guys, and then really I'm going to go play college football, so I think this will make me a better athlete." And I said, "Dude, that's like the smartest thing I've ever heard anybody say," and it was. And, selfishly, I know he wants to go. We're good right now. He wants to go and compete and be a part of that, and that's fine. Like, he's a great kid. He works hard. He's going to learn some stuff in here, and I promise you, wait till the season gets rolling. I bet we need him for something. And that's good. Like, we're going to give him the same type of attention I'll give any other kid just because he wants to be in there and work. And, that's a good working wrestling dynamic with all of your kids, and I'm thankful that football helped me build that bond and that relationship with him where he's comfortable enough to do that. And then Josh Adesola, the same way. Yep. Josh has been in the wrestling room and came in like, it's crazy. Some kids will just come in and wrestle a little bit of freestyle with you during spring because they have no other sports going on. And that's kind of how he got hooked, and his buddies, Hunter and all of them are in there. And he's just always went into open gyms during the summer and rolled around, been a basketball player, and then this year, he's like, dude, I'm going to wrestle. Same thing as Andre. Like, I'm a really good football player. This is going to make me better. I've seen it make other kids better. Like, we were just in there playing Powerball after practice, and just watching the athleticism on some of the kids, I was like, holy cow. Like, we're athletic. And I mean, a lot of that's due to wrestling, I feel like, just because our kids are used to being in there and doing all that crazy stuff. And it makes me a lot more nervous the older I get playing games and doing stuff with kids, like not for my own safety, which is I'm very nervous because I'm one injury away from it all being over with. But I'm nervous for the kids. I don't want them to get injured and they're playing, but like you can't take that away from them. We're a highly competitive, highly athletic group right now. And like, I got to let them have all those outlets and just ways to have fun with wrestling because practice is hard. If I just have them show up every day and just nose to the grind, we would lose a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, eventually it does get like that, I guess, in the latter part of the seasons, but right now, I understand that.
And that's like, those dudes know, like, once we get into January and February, like, that stuff knocks off a lot. And, like, we'll still have it here and there, but it comes down to there's not going to be 90 in the room like there was today. There's, the kids that are working for the end of the season type stuff. But it's good, like 90 in there today gives you a lot to choose from, gives you a lot of practice partners, gives you just a lot of different perspectives. And as a coach, like it motivates me. It makes me feel good when a lot of people are in there. Those are kids that are wanting to get better in practice. And I think that's like the ultimate like respect you can show a coach is like on a break, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever it might be, is just making sure your kids are at practice. Like they don't have to do, I mean, they need to show up and work, but like the best thing you can do if you really respect a coach's time and like you appreciate what they do for your family is like, man, in wrestling there's going to be Christmas break practices and I get it. Like you might need to go and have that vacation with your family or do something like that. But like, I don't know, just being there at practice means a lot because like I'm giving up everything I can to make sure that everything's set up and practice goes well. And I feel like that's a good thing to kind of run by.
Can you talk a little bit about the difference in training a senior first-year wrestler, right, versus the freshman that is starting wrestling? You know what I mean? So you're still going to go into
That's a really good question. But like while I was thinking about that point with like parents and getting their kids, like I want to just kind of add on to that, like the reasoning behind that is not just like Coach Rowell's there, I need to be there. Like it's not that. It's just like you literally you can't duplicate what you get in a practice room with your team, like with those partners. You can't duplicate the intensity and like what we're doing in that room. I feel like you can go work out in a gym, go on a run, do all that, and that's fine. Do that by all means, but like you just can't duplicate wrestling. And like we're at the point where we get these kids on Thanksgiving break or 7 practices before we compete, and the Christmas break is where we have to develop because we're going to the Geary Tournament. Like, and then like if you're not ready to go there, like, so that's just why it's so important to me. It's not a selfish thing. It's just, man, like we're putting in all that there. Like, please just do your part and I don't think like we do a bad job of that by any means. Most of our kids do that on their own. Like they're there no matter what. But just for any new parents or parents that are just getting involved, like this is just a sport that runs through 2 major holidays. You got to be here and work, and it is what it is. But back to your question with that, like how do you develop a kid that comes out later in high school to like a freshman kid that comes out? Yeah,
or even a 6th grader. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and been able to do it with different ones and have success with like some of them, and as like a freshman or like a 6th grader or something, I'm going to be teaching kids a little more kind of about the long run with it. If you get a kid out as a senior, like there's not a real big long run, you just you explain like depending on how good your team is, like we're good right now, so like he knows his role is like, dude, I can be a backup somewhere, I can fit in as a practice partner. And from there, you just start teaching them like the basic stuff so they can help out to be a really good partner. Stance, double legs, halves. And fortunately, he's 6'1", 200 pounds, great looking athlete. He's good at all those things. So like, that's a great base. And I don't know, you just teach them how to be good partners, I think, more than anything when they're older like that. You know, like, this is your role, and, like, they understand that role. And if they're a little bit younger, you know, you're trying to set them up for some match success, you know, and you're trying to set them up for a little bit longer success in their career than it would be as, like, a kid like that. And also, like, a kid like that as a senior and, like, as a junior that's just coming out, like, I'm going to provide what they want out there, like the athleticism through our drills and agilities and the conditioning, you know, and the mindset, you know. That's what they come out for a lot. So, like, you make sure you provide that for them as well. As far as technique, like, you just, I think, teach them more to be kind of a serviceable partner and teammate. And, but like I said, dude, there's probably a good chance, like, no matter what happens, like, everybody could have the bird flu all in one day. And, like, you need him. And he's all right. Like, that's why I say, you know, with this, I'll take him with me, because even if I sent him out there tomorrow and it was like, dude, 2 practices, go wrestle, he'd find a way to go battle. I mean, he'd go battle for us. So that's good to know about your kids. Yeah.
Man, let's go ahead and jump into the big one, dog. The Geary Tournament, man. You kind of brought it up a while ago, man. That's kind of that's really big. To me, it's something I've been hoping. I mean, honestly, something I've been praying for, dog, that, you know, we'd find a way to we'd do the things that we needed to do to get into that tournament. And I feel like we did everything that we needed to do. It was just a matter of time before we got the invite, you know. And going there, the significance of the tournament to me is kids getting them looks, them national looks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
National level looks, national level competition is what I should say.
That's what I want our kids to understand more than anything. It's not Coach Rowell's, oh, we won state. Coach Rowell thinks we're world beaters, blah, blah, blah. It's not that. Like, I was trying to get our kids into Geary the very first year I moved here. Like, you know that. Like, I was trying to get them in immediately because I just know. I know in Oklahoma, like, elite level competition, that's the tournament. That's the tournament everybody talks about, you know. And I competed in it 4 years as a wrestler, and only won it once, you know, as a senior. And, like, I'm thankful, very thankful. It was tough, you know, and that's just, like, kind of goes with some of our kids. Like, I want them to learn that lesson too, like, in wrestling, no matter how good you are, state champion, state place, or multiple time state champion, like, losses are going to come. Losses are going to come. And I don't care if we have any undefeated state champions or any undefeated kids ever. Undefeated means nothing to me. You know, it's a great accomplishment, and I'm not taking away because I've had undefeated state champions, you know, and that's like, you're untouched. That's great. That's a great accomplishment. But, like, in the long run with this, and, like, there's going to be losses, there's going to be adversity, you know, so I'd much rather a kid learn that and come out on the other side than just even, like, and not saying this has happened to my undefeated kids, but, like, if you're undefeated and you go through, and, like, no matter what, there's some kind of adversity in your life, like, see how you handle it, you know, And I don't know, that's just, like, the Geary Tournament. You'll go and you'll get those looks against those nationally ranked kids. What do you have to lose? Like, what do you have to lose? Nothing. Yeah. And, like, that's a great point to throw in. And then just as, like, a spectator, like, I want to go and see these kids wrestle. And I've seen a lot of them wrestle nationally, and these nationally ranked kids. And I think I have the same dogs in there in the room with me as well. It's just, like, we haven't been put there yet. So,
well, I mean, also too, like, in that same breath, we can talk about the kids that we've had, the state champions we've had that wasn't able to wrestle in that tournament. Like the Jacob Butler, the Isaac Garrett's, the Rowell and I. You know what I mean? It's that what if drives me crazy.
Me too.
I mean?
Me too.
I would love to have seen them guys battling that. You know, and if you look at it,
I think maybe out of that whole group, who I have one that would have won it. One.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Well, here's my thoughts on that. I would like to go back and look at the brackets,
I
though.
think I would have loved to have seen it too, you know, because it could have possibly got Butler in a fixed matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, that could have happened. And then Rowland and, like, the Rowland kid from Mustang would have happened at one point. And, like, I just think some good stuff, like, wrestling-wise could have happened. But Cushing was good to us too. We had some great matchups there, and that's a great tournament, like, that we won't be going to this year because of it. But I don't know, once you get in at Geary, you don't get out. And any team that gets out, like, I don't know. I don't want teams to, I don't know. Once you get into Geary, don't get out. That's my advice. When I was in high school, my coach, and we had the coolest Geary experience. Like, he lived across the street from the gym literally growing up, and his mom and dad still lived there. Our team stayed at the house there growing at the tournament, and it was just the best experience. But even as a freshman, I remember him griping at me and was like, dude, you have, I don't know what my record was. It was probably like 15-5, like going into Geary or something. And he was considering not taking me. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's like, it's a tough tournament. And I think I won one match as a freshman and then got beat out, or maybe went 2 in Q. I don't know, one of my 2 in Qs, but the prestige of the tournament, the toughness of the tournament, and if you're bad, I still think you should take kids to the Geary Tournament, because like I said, don't get out of it. Don't get out of it. Like, we were begging to get into it. That's kind of what would make me hot about the whole situation. Is there was teams there that didn't want to be there, I felt like.
Yeah.
And even and there's years where I've been bad, probably didn't need to be there at all. And I'm not saying we're going to go there and do anything miraculous, but we're going to go there and compete. Like, we're going to throw our kids in the fire and get ready to go and try to come out on the other side. And then just, I don't know, January, that'll just be a good month of us sharpening our axe. Like the old saying, getting ready for February, because February is when it all matters. But that's just kind of like my rollout with the team this year is like December. Hopefully we figure out a lot of ranking, match situations, lineup situations, start getting kids down to weights they need to be at, and just get some mat time under us. Is the first couple tournaments and duels. And then January, we're in the war zone. It's Geary, district duels, Carl Albert tournament, Tuttle duel, Marlowe duel, Big Four tournament with Blackwell and Ponca and Westmore and all those schools. So that's a grind of a month, and our kids need that though. We need to be tested like that. I need that though in February, when afterwards I might be pulling my hair out. But that's good. I don't know. I just want to be with this team that we have and these kids that we have and these kids that have grown up coaching and I love, and I want what's best for them. This is what's best for them, going and competing and seeing all this, whether they see it with their minds right now or not. This is what's best for them. I want them to see what's out there, be what is exposed to the best out there, right, and do what they can do. And I don't know, even with our kids, our top level kids, I don't know how many kids we'll send to college to be college wrestlers, and that's not my goal. I'm not here to just make college wrestlers. There's an avenue for that, and I want kids to go prepared to college to wrestle, but a lot of these kids will go do other things. We have a lot of kids that'll go play football on our team, that'll go and just be great adults, and I just want them to pick up the overall I don't know, just the overall greatness of the competition when you go do that, in everything they do. I want them just to expect to be the best, right? So expect to be top level, and a lot of kids around here believe that right now. That's why it hurts so bad Friday night.
Yeah. Let's jump back a little bit more and talk about the Geary Tournament, the blind draw.
Yeah.
How special that is, you know what I mean, and what that means, kind of the format of the tournament, if you will.
Yeah, so you just you could have 5 state champions in your weight, and all 5 of those state champions are on the same side of the bracket. You know, there's no seeding. You come in, it just randomly draws you into a bracket. So the best kids can wrestle right off the bat. That's a cool format that teaches kids that every single match is extremely important. You better be ready to go for match 1, and that adds a good uniqueness to the tournament. I love that format of it. Works out well.
So typically the number 1 and 2 seeds on different sides of the brackets, right? So if you're the 1 seed, your first match might be against someone, quote unquote, the number 2 seed. You know,
you could have the best dude, right? You could have a finals match right off the bat. But also, I guarantee it happens. It happens.
Oh, every year it happens. Yeah. But also too is the significance of that is just because somebody's a 2 seed doesn't mean you're better than them. It's just because a lot of times, because you got people that's in different classes that wrestle this tournament. You got kids from out of state that wrestle in this tournament. So sometimes it's hard to get a true seed anyway. You know what I mean? So I think that's the significance of the blind draw.
That's a great one, and it lets you let's test kids right after weigh-in. If you better be ready to go match 1. A lot of kids like to get that first match against a kid that don't know how to wrestle very well out of the way. get a sweat in, eat again, reset, you know.
Yeah.
But when it's that first go after a hard weight cut, your lungs are going to burn no matter what. So you better warm up it really hard. You better warm up a match. You know, and that's hard to do when you're cutting weight like that.
So your freshman year, you say you don't really remember a lot of it. You might have went 2-0 your freshman year.
I think I did go 2-0 my freshman year.
Your sophomore year, I'm assuming you won some matches though, right?
I think I went 2-2 my sophomore year.
2-2.
Mm-hmm.
And then your junior year, you got second, correct?
I got beat in the finals and then didn't wrestle my challenge match. So.
Okay, well, let's talk about that's another avenue of the format of the tournament too, right? So, like, since there is no seeds, right, they do the challenge match for true second. So, if you lose the first place match, you have to win your second place match.
Right.
And if you don't, you get third.
Yep. And I don't know. I won't ever advocate for this because in some tournaments like that, I don't think they should have true second at state or anything because that's just too emotional of a match. But the uniqueness of the tournament allows to have that true second challenge because of the blind draw, and I think that's good. I don't think any other format where you should wrestle like a true second just because it's a very unfair advantage. But in that tournament, it's a great asset. And like when I was a junior, I got beat in the finals 15-10, and I will never ever, I don't want my kids to hear this and think that they can do this, but like legitimately it was my first tournament after a torn MCL. I was wearing a huge MCL brace on my leg. Like it made no sense for me to wrestle that challenge match, and just bigger fish to fry throughout the season. So like that was why I didn't wrestle that one, but like my kids are going to hear that now and be like, Coach.
Well, no, let's talk about that, though. That's the significance and how tough this tournament it is because we look at it that way. Let's say you took third at the Geary Tournament. Well, you also won state that year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just a testament how tough this tournament can be. You know?
Yeah.
And it is, really. I mean,
so that was one of those situations where two kids wrestled each other the very first match on the other side of the bracket. They were both state champions. And I was the state champion on the other side.
Right.
And I was like, all right, brother. Like,
so you had 3 state champions in your bracket?
3, I think a 4th one in there even. Like my junior year was tough. And I just ended up making it to the finals and got beat. And then by one of the state champions. And then I was going to have to wrestle the other one in that challenge match. It would have been a tough-ass match. Like, I know it would have been a tough match.
Right.
And that's, like, why I don't, like, want to advocate for it. Like, I probably should have wrestled that match. But at the time, like, no. Like, it was a good coaching call not to.
Yeah.
You know, but, like, a lot of my kids in that situation, unless I know you're really injured, I'm going to make you wrestle that match. Like, we're going to get through it.
Can you talk about how the Geary Tournament plays in the seeds?
It
like later on in the season?
And that's where, like, your coaching due diligence has to go on. Like, it plays in because you can have kids in your own class where you have head-to-head matchups, but you can really get, like, common opponent matchups, you know, wrestle other kids from other schools. And that's where, just because normally if you're at the Geary Tournament, you're at all these other good tournaments around, and it just it gets you spread out throughout that common opponent. Like, and if you beat someone really, really good, they might be in another class, might not ever see them again, so it don't mean anything significant against you, like against them. But what if they beat someone at regionals that we have later in the year, and we never saw that person, and they were a returning state qualifier? Like, they would get the seat above us unless we're like, yo, Geary Tournament, we beat so-and-so who beat you, so we get that seat. You know, so that's just kind of one of them things as a coach. Like, you harp to kids, like, it's all right to lose matches, and if you lose a match outside of your class, you know, not to freak out too much, but, like, in the end, too, it can come back and bite you on the ass. Like, we've lost some seeds because of stuff like that, and coaches are good. Coaches do what they should when it comes to regional seating meetings. At least I know I'm always going to try to.
So your senior year is the year you actually won it.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I know we've talked about it before on a podcast. Just kind of recap a little bit.
Yeah, I just wrestled some good kids in my weight that year. I think a state champion from another class ended up later on in the year. And then, I don't know, multiple state placers, but just ended up pinning my way to the finals, I think. Like, was pretty dominant. And then my finals match was like 5-0 against Matt Starzinski from Midwest City. I do remember that. He was good. He's a good wrestler.
Can you talk a little bit of different, what you see different, like big changes you see other than like the lineup as far as it comes to coaching style this year versus, last year? Because last year, realistically, we had some inexperienced kids on the team that was able to go put some stuff together for us. This year, I feel like you guys got a solid team, dog. You know what I mean? Is there anything you're going to do different coaching-wise?
Yeah, like there's a lot of approaches that I'm trying to take with this team. And just because, like I talked about, I want to get the most I can out of them, and I want them to get the most out of this experience. And what's crazy is at some point, like, we're going to have a state placer sitting on the bench probably in some weights, just because I think certain kids, like, you look at Colin, Hudson, Zayden, Shay, Jace, and Ritson, even throw them in there, 215 and heavyweight like that. That's a bunch of kids in two weights that I think on any other team are state placers, state champions, significant contributors. So, like, I want to do a really good job this year of not just, like, we're going to have our dudes there that go and, like, our dudes to compete, but I want to have other outlets for those kids. I want to have other avenues for those kids that still need to compete and go wrestle. And, like, I want the competition for that spot to be there all the way until regionals. Like, and if you're not cutting your weight right, if you're not doing things right, even if you're beating that kid, like, I'm going to be on you. Like, that kid's hungry to take your spot and they're doing things right. Better make sure just everybody's doing everything they're supposed to in that sense. Like, there's going to be a good amount of accountability. I feel like kids are going to be held for. So, like, that's an approach, like, I want to take, and, like, I want to make sure everybody's involved, but, like, I want them to have fun, and I want them to just enjoy being, like, athletic and having so many other good sport things going on outside. Like, I don't want them to forget that as well, I want them to enjoy the season. In the end, we want to do what we set out and what we talked about. We want to win dual state. We want to win tournament state. We want to win outside of our class. We want to win against nationally ranked kids. We want to do what these kids have grown up doing, what Jace and Colin and Hunter and just all those kids, George, Shay, Dip Myers, Jack, Rice, all of them that just all the Tatanippas just have grown up wrestling at these nationally ranked tournaments and these huge events. Like, they've had success there. Let's go do it. Let's go have success in high school like we've talked about. And we don't have to pull in and recruit from other schools to do that. We've raised all these kids here in Elgin. And we'll continue to do that. If kids want to come here and wrestle when they're younger and stay here and move into our community, by all means do that. Like, you can do that. This is a great community, and I'm going to be here coaching these kids really, really hard. Right. And I think that's, like, what's unique about us too, is you see these teams that are nationally ranked and they're well, like, accredited with really good kids. Like, I'm not shooting any of that down, but, like, in the end, those kids are from different spots.
Yeah, where'd they come from?
Yeah, the kids are from different spots. And most of our kids, we get in here from a youth program or from our feeder program, or they move in 6th to 7th grade when they make that choice for their family. Like, this is what we want to do. We want to be coached here. We want this. And that's what's good. That's what's unique about our kids.
Can you talk a little bit about the rule on that is? So, like, a kid, when they're in 7th grade, right, if they move here, they have to take a year off no matter. If they don't move here, if they just transfer here from another school, they have to take a year off, right?
Yeah, so if you live in another district, and this is like, if somebody wants to get on here and fact check me, go ahead. But from what I understand is, you live in another district, and you want to go to school in Elgin, first you have to get your transfer accepted. And I don't even know if we accept, like, transfers, but, like, because I stay out of that process. Like, I don't know, I don't care, I stay out of that process. But if you decide to do that and you don't have, like, an address within our district, you have to sit out a full year.
Right.
You can compete on sub-varsity level, like JV, and you can practice and do all that. You just can't compete for varsity.
So would that even matter for 7th and 8th grade then?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
because like there's nothing to really to win, like championships to win. Like there's not junior high state, that's not good.
But I do think there's like a clock that starts once you start in 7th grade and you have a certain amount of years to graduate.
Right.
I don't know.
Somebody come fact check us.
Yeah.
Let us know how this works.
Edit that one because I don't know that part.
Yeah. Anyway, man, what's your expectations for this year?
I want our program to continue growing. Number one, I want us to continue growing and just to continue believing as a program and as a community, like what we're doing in wrestling is providing such a great outlet, not only like athletically and the success we're having, but like we're creating a bunch of good kids, like a bunch of just dependable, hardworking kids. And I talked to a dude last night and he just said something to me about a kid I coached 8 years ago. He works for him. And I was like, man, that kid's a knucklehead, blah, blah. And I said, but I bet he works really hard for you, right? And he goes, oh, yeah. And I said, yeah, that's kind of what I remember too, So, like, I want that as far as expectations. And then everything else past that is just like, yeah, we want to win dual state. We want to try to win the tournament this year. We want to showcase these kids and let these kids see how far they can really take themselves because they can go a long ways. We're really, really talented when they want to be and when things are going to all come together, hopefully, like getting kids down to weight and letting them compete where they need to be.
And coming in hot, we got senior and 2-time state champion Symphony Veloz. And we got sophomore, returning state champion Ritson Meyer. Mm-hmm. Hey, so this is kind of a question for both of y'all, but it's going to be answered. Y'all are going to have different points of views on it, right? So, Ritson coming in as a sophomore, state champion last year.
Sure.
How's your year different this year than it was last year? And Symphony coming in as a 2-time state champion, and you're being your senior year. Is there anything different y'all are looking at this year versus last year?
No. I mean, we won the top 2 things you can win. So I think we just got to work a little bit harder. Work harder, still have fun though. And I think it's kind of the same. I want to get these freshmen up because our freshman class is really good.
Right.
So I think if we get them, we got a really, really good team. I think we're better than last year, really. We got a better chance, good chance.
I like hearing him say
confident.
that. That's a good thing, saying we want to get our freshmen ready and get the younger class ready. That's a good sign of maturity there, Ritson. Like, we're only as good as the next group coming in, and that's a good point he hit on right there.
And we're really blessed about like how good our freshman class is because some of these teams that were good last year, they lose seniors and they don't get these freshmen that are good. And I'm hyped. I'm ready for it. Dual state was something I dreamed for, and it was one of the highlights of my life. I really loved it.
Symphony?
Yeah, just with it being my senior year and everything, I'm really just trying to enjoy it, like work hard like I've always been, but hanging out with my teammates more, just trying to enjoy it more instead of being so serious all the time. Because, I don't know.
Spend time with your dad.
I guess a little bit, yeah.
That's a good point.
It's good.
Coach Rob, that's something that, like, as a head coach of like both programs, I want to influence that. Like, I want you to have a good senior year with your dad, and since he helps coach the team, not only that, it's just he pours a lot into the wrestling club. He's poured a lot into your like career growing up, and that's something with all my coaches. Like, I can't provide like the riches of being an assistant coach here, but like the experience of getting to coach your kid or being in the finals, in the corner of the finals, or we talked, your son's going to get to wrestle in the Geary Tournament one day, little things like that. I hope like those are the things I can't pay and monetary means, but hopefully that means a lot to a lot of people. But no, sorry to interrupt you. Just saying that's something that like hopefully you look forward to.
No, definitely it is something I look forward to, especially since, he had to miss the first 2 years of everything. So for him to be here for the last 2 and probably the most important years, it's a good thing to have. But also, like I've tried every year, but this year I'm really making sure I make it a point to give back. And I feel like in Elgin, girls wrestling is at a different spot than the boys. The boys have had years and years of wrestlers, but now it's at a point where it's their legacy building time. Like they're trying to go for multiple dual state championships in a row, not just get that one that they've been wanting for so long. Like now they're working to just cement Elgin wrestling as a big thing in the state. But our girls wrestling program, we're growing. We're still having hard times getting a full lineup, getting girls that really just want to buy into everything. And for us, our peak is the one individual state championship. We don't have dual state like boys do. So just trying to get that to a point where other girls can grow and have the success that I've had, that would be something great to see within the next few years. And I feel like as someone who's been a part of this program for a while, I have a part in that. So senior year, definitely just trying to give back, help teach girls how to wrestle, and just fall in love with the sport like I did.
Talk about, that's a really good point when you talk about like the boys wanting to cement a legacy and win multiple championships in a row. Mm-hmm. Like you're a part of that. You're a huge part of that. Like you've competed for the boys team. You've weighed in. You've done that. You've done everything. You've practiced with these boys. You've grown up with them since 4th and 5th grade, some of them, Talk about just being the girl that grew up with those boys, because you were always there in the practice. And even till today, like when I go look at the girls group, you're not there. You're down with the boys. Mm-hmm. And like, that's just who you are. And not every like high level girl does that, trains with boys and stuff. Like some high level girls just train with girls, but like talk about the comfortability you have and like how having good teammates, like I feel like our boys do a good job of just making sure things go good in here as far as training partners. No,
the boys, they've always been, accepting, or not really accepting, but just they didn't make it a big deal that I was a girl in the wrestling gym. Like it's never been an issue. Yeah, we argue sometimes, but that's just how teammates are. I mean, even the boys argue with each other, and I've never felt like I'm not a part of this team. It's just some of the things I have to compete in differently than them. And there's been times I felt, man, I wish I had like my own girls dual state team, or I wish there was a girls dual state. But honestly, out of everyone, I feel like I'm one of the luckiest people because I get to play a part in the boys, like hanging out with them, being their teammate, and then seeing them win dual state and things like that. And then I get to play a huge part in the girls' side too, which really helping the girls out and us having our own thing. So I get the best of both worlds, which I really just love that. But yeah, the boys have always been great. Like I've never had an issue with any of them. I've never felt uncomfortable going to a practice because I was going to feel uncomfortable being the only girl. It's just always been a great time, like being in this wrestling gym.
What would you say to some of the younger girls that they don't feel comfortable wrestling boys yet? Because I see like there's a big an advantage to practicing with the boys at times instead of practicing with the same girls within your weight class or in your little group. Is there any advice or anything you'd give them when it comes to that?
Some girls will just not like it because if they've started older, then they already have a different thought process behind working out around a boy, right, or just working out with boys. So that probably won't change. But the younger girls, it's just comes down, I think, to the coaching and everything of how comfortable they feel going and practicing with the boys or not. I honestly, I don't know if I could really tell a girl, like, you need to go train with this boy to make you better, because I don't think that's always true. The issue I find with it is I practice with boys because overall the boys have been wrestling longer than most of the girls we have here.
Right.
So to get that look I need for competition, I have to go with the boys sometimes. But when it comes to the girls,
you have to find the right boy with the right mindset, though, too, in the room. And that's like something maybe Braxton or Ritson can kind of talk about here, even just boys that are sitting around. Like, if the room gets on you when you're wrestling a girl in here or something, like you can't, I don't know, don't let your pride get to you in that sense. Like, we know if like you're a bigger, stronger dude, you can go out and like manhandle a girl in the room. Right. Or are you going to be like selfless enough and like drop your pride and actually wrestle that person and just like give them the look that they need, and in return like get a good look as well. Like, first off, you whoop 75% of the boys in here probably, if not more. I would say probably 90%. And but then like the other ones that are in here, like, can you drop your pride and give a look and like not let the room say, oh, there's a girl taking you down over there. That's the nature of the beast. So like from a boy's perspective, I know like y'all are not the quickest to want to jump in there and get the goes with the girls, but you do like when the time comes. And then just talk about like, what I think's cool is like talk about how you get to watch them compete at the state tournament next to you. Not only like y'all had the honor of wrestling state finals side by side each other, but like to watch your girls compete in tournaments and stuff and to see them like emulate how the boys do out there, and to emulate success. Like talk about how it is like as a boy to watch that.
Seeing somebody win a state championship, it was really cool, especially, we did it at the same time. And, if either one of us would have lost, the other person would have been 100% happy that the other person won. And, seeing Coach Rowell jumping around like that joy, that was even more joy to me that we both got to give him this feeling. And in practice, like, if somebody was to take me down, the boys would be, harping and hooping, but like I like that competitive side. And it's just competitive in here. I love it. And then, we're going to make fun of somebody, but it's all love in the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
that's how it's supposed to be. It's a wrestling room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's all love at the end of the day.
What's something, Symphony, coming back, what's some advice you could give Ritson on, kind of like defending his title this year?
I mean, you're the first person in this position. You know what I mean? Like, I remember my freshman year when I lost, I was thinking, okay, who's it going to be? Because Elgin Wrestling needs a 4-time state champion, point blank period. And you're the first one that's going to have this opportunity to get it. So I just say let it fly. Don't hold anything back. And keep your sane mindset you had your freshman year for all 4 years. Don't get comfortable with any of the situations you're in. Just always know that you can work harder. And because I know you can do it. Mm-hmm. You proved it last year winning as a freshman at a weight class where I feel like freshmen don't win as much because, people are older, people are bigger, but you did it. So, sky's the limit for you, Ritson. Like, I really believe in you and that you're able to do it. And I don't feel any ill will that it couldn't be me or that it couldn't be someone else that maybe I was closer to. I'm really happy for you, and I know you're going to be able to do it. So really just keep working hard, and I think you know what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Cody, this question's for you. You're kind of in the same boat as Symphony right now. When you was in high school, senior year coming back, defending 2 state championships, going for your 3rd. What's some advice you could give her in her senior run?
Something that I wish like I would have known my senior year that I think Symphony has a better grasp on than I do, like that I want everybody to know. And I want Ritson to know this, like it's okay to lose a match during the season. It's okay to lose a match, and it's okay to seek out the best competition possible to push yourself. And like losing those 1 or 2 matches, or hell, if you lose a handful of matches throughout the season, like we've seen as a program, like what we can do at the end of the year. Like that's what I want. I want the end product. So like in between time, I want y'all to enjoy it and work hard, but go to these tournaments and seek the best competition and just let it fly. Like let it fly. Like we have nothing to lose as a program, I feel like, when we're in this position. Yeah, we have a target on our back trying to defend a state championship and stuff, but like we have nothing to lose. We have a lot of extremely talented kids fighting for lineup spots. Like, let's go showcase those kids with the best talent in the nation. And I don't know, just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to like get in those big moment situations and like let it all out on the line. And if you fail, like I'm going to be here to pick you up, coach your butt up, and get you right for the next one, no matter what it is. Like, no matter what it is, like who you are, no matter what. Like you guys, I talk to you as trying to do the best of the best, defend state titles, but like, I'll say this to the kid that's on our team, like a freshman trying to make the lineup or something, like let it all on the line during practice. So we know that you can make the lineup, let it all go on the line when we go duel Altus or Santa Fe South at the beginning of the year here. And just let me know that, like, and then, like, when you fail doing that, I'll coach you the same way I'm coaching these two. And we're just building that process, like, to make the team, win matches, place at tournaments, win tournaments, qualify for state, place at state, win state, you know, like the progression.
As far as y'all two go, you know, everybody's excited to see y'all come back and wrestle this year, especially both y'all coming off a state championship. Who's somebody y'all are excited to watch this year?
Me, I'd really love to see Hunter Jackson come back. He runner-up last year. I think he can do it. He works so hard in the wrestling room, and I think Hunter can really get it done. I think he's going to be state champion. Bryce Martin, he wants it. I know he wants it. He's got to get it done. And then our freshmen, you know, Talon, Braxton, they're both really, really good. As a freshman, I always had confidence in myself, and it just helped me get through it, get that state championship.
You better mention one more freshman.
And Kaysen.
Yeah.
Kaysen's coming.
Little brother's coming, and little brother's going to do a fantastic job. Like, he's going to have a great year. So we got lots of secrets in the bags, man. We got lots of kids. So we got a lot of good kids. And, we have kids coming back off of injuries last year. We have kids that are just like freshmen into sophomore that can't wrestle in junior high lineup that are trying to make the lineup. Like, we're good deep in a lot of weights, and, like, that's good in the room. And that keeps the room fun, too. Like, it'd be stale if we just came in here and Ritson pounded on everybody every single day, but we're out there pushing him. Like, I'm pinning his butt every day like I did yesterday.
No.
Just said it for the microphone.
Hey, we was minute it goes, I pinned him twice.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I pinned you once too this year, huh?
Yeah, see, it's a big game on the mic, but hey, that's also, like, where as a coach, I'm trying to be better at. Like, normally I would battle some of those positions till the death, and, like, when he take me down, I'd find a way to punch him in the face. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm still sneaking those in, but, like, I don't know, I'm trying to wrestle through different positions with kids and, like, not have an ego like I was when I was young. When I was young, I didn't care. Like, I was really trying to twist kids' heads off in here. And I still, like, want to be in that, but
Yeah.
it's just, you learn, you get older.
I remember 6th grade year. It was like right when I started practicing with high school and stuff. Coach Rowell wants to come hop on me, and I was getting him. And then he gives me the old, like, punching in the ribs and twisting my nose and stuff like that. And now, sophomore, he don't know what to do. I'm getting my get back finally.
To be fair, you were the same size in 6th grade.
Yeah, he was. No, but it's all love. Make sure you don't get in trouble. It's all love. It's all love, everyone. Don't worry.
No, it's good. It's, like, just a good, like, healthy relationship. Like, we got these dudes in here we talked about out of football fresh this week, and I don't know, they could have reacted differently, but they didn't. They came in here ready to work and, like, let their teammates, let their coaches pick them up, you know, and we'll go back to school and start the grind this week. So that's just kind of, like, what we're looking forward to as a program, and how, like, we kind of want to start just our first wrestling podcast here is talk about, like, what we have coming forth as a program, like what's on the agenda this week, being, like, the first week of competition for us. You know, we start with the tournament with our high school boys and girls going to Blanchard this weekend, and then our junior high going to Shawnee Duels on Friday and Saturday. So that's going to be that's exciting. You know, we've got a good 2 weeks of training with the guys that came out of football once we get through this week, and they'll be ready to go.
Symphony, anybody excited to watch wrestle this year?
Yes, I have about 3 people. Well, I'm excited for everyone, obviously, but the top 3, Abby and Alana. Alana, last year, she was in wrestling, of course, and she went to regionals. And I don't think she cared about it as much as she has this year. This year, she's been working extra, just trying to get work in whenever she can, and she's really taking it seriously and trying to learn more. So Alana is definitely one of the people I would watch out for. For the other girls in her bracket, yeah, they need to watch out for her, definitely. Abby has just become more of a solid athlete overall. She's gotten bigger and stronger, and she's at the point now where she's starting to give me troubles whenever we're wrestling. And I'm like, whoa, because she's just she's really athletic for her at her weight class at 190. And then it's a wide open weight for her now. I mean, she qualified last year when she was a freshman, and then she was a match away from placing. So she has a lot of potential this year. But the person I'm most excited for, like Ritson, is Hunter. Hunter has been here since like the beginning. He was around whenever, the Elgin Youth League started, when it was Elgin Grapplers. And then he just plays such a huge role in some of the, I guess, more prominent sports in Elgin, like football and wrestling. And just the amount of athletic, I don't know if to say heartbreaks or setbacks he's been through just as a junior going through his first semester of his junior year is insane. I mean, just looking back on it, whenever he went to dual state his freshman year, I remember him taking the loss against Guthrie very hard. I remember watching him and I could feel his pain for that. His individual state tournaments haven't gone the way he's wanted them to. And as someone who's lost before at state, I couldn't ever imagine going through that pain twice, which he's done, and he just keeps going. I just have nothing but respect for Hunter, because I know personally I couldn't do that. And then most recently, just a little bit over a week fresh, the loss in the second round of playoffs for football. Just seeing how resilient he is very inspiring, and I want him to get a state championship more than anyone, honestly. More than myself, love you, Ritson, but if there's some sort of, wrestling roulette and it's between us three, I want him to get it.
That says a lot, about our kids, and that makes me, I don't know, I'm just very appreciative for our kids, and don't get me wrong, I know I'm going to have to push a lot of our kids outside of comfort zones this year, and there's going to be conflict and confrontation between us, and those are the things, I don't look forward to, with my coaching, but I know we have to get through to get better, and I don't know. I just, that stuff with Hunter, you think about those setbacks with him and all those, and you think about you wouldn't be able to get through that. You would find a way. And the older that I've gotten now as an older person, like I said, as an older person, it's the long game with it. With this wrestling thing, it's the long game. And, you're just continuously trying to get better with this sport. You're continuously trying to get better in life. You're continuously trying to be a better person. There's no complete, here it is, I'm 42. I'm the best I'm ever going to be. I'm the best of the best. When I'm 43, I'm going to be trying to be better than when I was 42. When you stop doing that, that's when you start kind of reverting. You start getting really, really old. You know what I'm saying? And as a wrestler, it's the same thing. I'm never going to be the best wrestler ever. I've got to keep building. And then when I stop doing that, you start kind of regressing and start turning into an old wrestler, So it's the long game. Don't let that mentally crush you. And I think that's a great breakthrough with Hunter. Even if Hunter never finds that state championship, never ever finds it, that dude might go win him college national title, That dude might go and be a fantastic father of three with a great job and good to his wife and good to his kids, and is a great youth wrestling coach one day. That's a great job, I feel as a coach as well. So whatever happens there, that's a life lesson being taught. And I hope y'all see that as young wrestling kids that are successful.
So kind of feed off that question is, what's something y'all look to improve off of from last year? Because you're already a state champion, right? So some people could take the mindset of, I'm good, I'm a state champion, But y'all are not that way. So y'all looking at is, what do I need to get better to sustain that, to defend that state championship?
Yeah. I don't want to be complacent, I just want to keep getting better, because I know there's going to be new people in this weight class that I don't know, and they're going to come. They want me. They want the champ. They want to beat the champ. So I just can't be complacent. I just got to keep on going, get my fellow peers, get them better, and just keep on working, keep on going.
I honestly just need to get better at being ready to wrestle whoever, because the past 2 years, the way the state tournament has gone, the girls that you expect to go at certain weight classes to win, everyone kind of falls in line. You know, people kind of stay in their lane. Nobody really jumps ship to a different place, which I've honestly been relying on that, feeling like my mindset, I've been thinking I'm not going to win if this girl comes up here, if this girl goes down there. Just really being ready to wrestle whoever, expecting anything. Like if someone comes up that I didn't want them to come up to my weight, it's like, you know what, doesn't matter, I'm going to wrestle you. Or if someone wants to come down, I need to get to the point where I'm just ready to wrestle whoever, which I think I've done better this year, even though I haven't started really competing yet. For the folk style season, just being ready to wrestle whoever is the biggest thing I need to get ready for, especially in college. Everyone's going to be good. So there's not really any running or hoping that people go find another spot.
This is kind of a question for both you and Coach Rowell. The dynamics of the state tournament for the girls changed a little bit this year. What does that mean to you and you, Coach Rowell, as a coach?
I mean, they turned it into a 3-day format this year where we'll still wrestle with our girls. Like the girls is split into 2 classes now, 6A and 5A. Large and small, basically. We're in the large class. So we'll wrestle with the girls every session. And I don't know, I think it'll be good. I think it'll help highlight the girls a little bit more. Breaking the girls into 2 classes was definitely needed. And that's a great move by the OSSAA. I don't know, I'm just up for whatever to help promote it and highlight it more. But I'm just glad that, like, we're stuck in the same sessions where, like, our boys can cheer our girls on, our girls can cheer our boys on. That's, like, where things will start changing as a coach, is, like, when they start separating that completely, which I'm sure they will one day. Yeah. Like, and if I have to make a choice and have to be at one or the other, like, that's when we'll have to, like, actually find a girls coach, like, and a boys coach, you know. But, like, I'm going to do them both as long as I can.
Honestly, the new changes that came out, I haven't really paid too much attention to them. Like, I know the competition has changed because some girls are in the smaller schools and then other girls are in the bigger school section. I think when I start competing, I'll really notice it, especially when we're at the state championship tournament. But I don't think really all the state tournaments I've been to, I've only had one, I guess you could call a normal state championship where, you know, it was the 2-day format. They started at a certain time, and then it was really traditional.
Last year?
Yeah, my junior year. But my freshman year, it was 1 day because of COVID. My sophomore year, everything kind of got twisted up because of that huge ice storm. So last year was, I guess, the traditional OSSAA state championship. But obviously this year with the 3-day format,
I thought it went well last year, though. Like, I like the way it ran. It just kind of made it long, I think, in a few sessions or whatnot. And then, like I said, splitting it into 2 classes will make it a little bit different. But it'll be good. Like, we'll miss a little bit of the action. Like, it splits the classes, I think, too. Like, I don't know. I probably shouldn't talk too more. I'm not all caught up on it. I'm trying to worry about the Blanchard tournament right now. Which is hard. Like, you say as a coach, we're preparing for state. Yeah, we're preparing for state in the end, but, like, I'm trying to take 50 kids to go wrestle this weekend in, like, high school and then send 25 to a junior high tournament. So, like, we're trying to get things rolling when it comes to that aspect of it.
So I got a question for Ritson. So Ritson, when it comes to, you know, your family on the team, right? So I feel like you and Kaysen's been wrestling together for forever. I feel like y'all been on the same team. Y'all always has, y'all, because they're right there, y'all close together. But now y'all both going to be on a high school team. You already got some experience with football this year. What's that relationship going to be like on the mat when it's time to go?
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy Kaysen's on my team, and I hope we experience that same joy that I experienced last year. We're getting that dual championship with Kaysen on my team now. Sometimes, you know, it's a blessing and a curse because I love watching Kaysen win, but then, you know, if he gets a dude that's really, really good and he's getting worked out there, I'm kind of like, ugh, I hate watching that. But
well, y'all practice in the room together? Do y'all work together? How's that dynamic? I mean, because realistically, there's about a 50-pound difference.
Yeah, there's a 50-pound difference, and he's got a big head, so he'll come try to calm me out and stuff, and I got to go over there and work him, and then he'll be over there. Like, I feel like he's half working with somebody else, and he'll come on me. He'll just go crazy, just like full.
Saves it up for you.
Yeah, saving energy, full blown. Full blown goes out, gets me on my 6th go. I'm over here. He's come over here, ball of steam, full double leg, tries to pick me up, gets me, and then the whole room will go wild. And I'm like, and then I actually got a, little brother in him. No,
That's good.
I mean, I like him. I like it.
Good.
That's good. Like that's a good dynamic. We have several sets of brothers in here that are just interesting. A lot of them are bigger than the other ones, so like the matchups aren't extremely good, but we do have a couple of good ones.
I mean, it's all in all. I mean, it's a very close group. One thing that me and Dax have talked about is, when he's a freshman, he gets to be on Ritson's dual team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something the little kids, they're looking up to it.
That's what's cool about like running all of our practices together is like you do give that like 6th or 5th grade kid a chance to like see a kid like Ritson who's successful, young, and you're like, damn, when he's a senior, I'm a freshman, we'll get to wrestle together on the same team. Even though there's a 4-year gap, like that might be a kid you looked up to growing up that you get to wrestle with. So that's cool. Like that's what's great about being able to run all these practices together. Yeah. And even like with that, like we have down to my kid being in 2nd grade, Jensen being a 1st grader in here, and even if they're like just in here for those high school practices, doing a little bit, paying attention here and there, like you're growing up in the right environment. I think just that alone's better than going to any like youth practice or tournament or anything. Like I think our youth practices are good, but like going to a youth tournament or coming to our Saturday morning practice yesterday, I think like lights out coming to our Saturday morning practice. Waylon and his little group got better.
Mm-hmm.
As far as y'all two, I asked y'all if y'all would come up with a question to ask the other one. Y'all want to expand on that?
No, I was thinking to ask Symphony, how was it your dad, he was in your corner like as you won that state championship? I feel like that was really cool for you.
Yeah, it definitely was pretty cool. Like I said earlier, he was gone the first 2 years for my high school, seasons. So having him there was the coolest thing ever, honestly. I mean, it was his first year back, being able to come to my tournaments and then coach me and root for me. So yeah, him being one of the first people I was able to like hug, and like I jumped into his arms after I won. It was pretty cool, especially after the match. Mm-hmm. Like the match was a back and forth match. So having that right after having my dad there, yeah, it was definitely an experience, and I'll never forget it. Sometimes like I'll just be going through my phone and then I'll see the little video that comes up that someone took from the stands. And it's like I get my hand raised and I run straight to my dad, jump into his arms, I hug him. So it's pretty cool to look back on and everything.
Yeah, it's still one of my like memories of one of my best pictures. I think I still like have on Facebook is me hugging my dad after state finals like 20 something years ago now. Like it's something you never ever forget.
Yeah.
I cried twice that tournament. The first one was when Hunter lost. Then that moment I seen that and I was tearing up. You get the quick tears, you got to turn.
Dude, that's what gets me a lot too, is like seeing kids' interactions with their parents.
Yeah.
Because I always had like really good interactions with my parents, like after matches, even after losses. Like they were really, really good to me. Mm-hmm. And like that good wasn't always like, oh baby either. But it wasn't like you're the worst dude on earth. It was like, you know how to do this, you'll figure it out. Like sometimes that's all you need to tell your kids is like, you got this, dude. And I think like if that's any like solid advice, that's what you tell your kids is like, you'll know how to figure it out.
My dad, he's one of my biggest supporters. He'll like give me a good look, tell me I got it, but if it's something bad, he'll tell me whatever he wants to say to me after the match, or if I'm not working hard, he'll let me know. And after that championship match, I came, Coach Rock, Coach Baker gave them big hugs, and then I ran up there to the stands. And me and my dad, I feel like we don't hug a lot, and I ran up there. He was waiting on me. First thing, big old hug to my dad.
It's the best feeling ever. That's exactly like who I was looking for after my match. And that's and I guarantee you, like, he probably feels the same way. Like, being able, you're hard on your kids, like, and your dad, he's hard on you when like you do things that are uncharacteristic of you, like being lazy or not working hard or not like holding up to the standard that's set in your family. And that's good. That's like, I feel like that's what a man should do for his family, you know, and that's like setting the good example. And it's good when that pays off the right way.
Last question I really have for y'all is, we see a lot of new kids coming in all the time, from all ages, right? But from a young age, what would be some advice y'all would give parents that are trying to get their kid into wrestling, male or female?
Let the coaches do their job and coach. Don't overstep. Just really let the coaches do what they are trained to do and what they know how to do, which is coach your kids. Because in Elgin, I can't name a single coach that doesn't have the kids' best interests at heart. Every single coach here in this wrestling gym, or just overall the Elgin, staff of coaches cares about your kids' success and they care about your kids. So trust in the coaches, and then help them out. Like if a program needs help with something, maybe they need more volunteers for an event and you can do it, then help the program out. There should never be, I guess, a tally of, what has this program done for my kid versus what has my program done for this kid. It should always just be, you're ready to help out whenever they need it. And if you can help, do it. And then just trusting that the program and the coaches and the people in the program have your kid's best interests at heart.
I think just adding on to that real quick before Ritson goes is like when you say help out, sometimes that's just like, hey, take your shoes off, come on the mat and tell these kids to stand in a straight line and just like, I don't know, just be a positive like influence out there. And sometimes that's just like saying, I don't know anything about wrestling, but I can be an adult, and that's a good point, Symphony.
Yeah, I think just support, through the wins and the losses. My mom, when I'm wrestling, and after I watch the video, I'm like, Mom, like, shut up while I'm wrestling, because she's just yelling at the phone. I just hear, and it kind of gets annoying at a certain point, but I just know she's just doing it because she loves me. And then just support and try to, learn it a little bit, help your kid, and just, yeah.
That's good advice. Learn it. I mean, because that's probably like the main thing when you see the disconnect between parents and coaches. It's just misinformation or ignorance, and I don't say ignorance like in a negative term, just ignorance as in you don't know what wrestling's really about. Because when parents immediately see wrestling, they think, oh, big kid, got to throw him down. And if my kid doesn't do that, my kid's weaker than that kid. And that doesn't necessarily mean that right off the bat. Like there's lessons to be taught throughout it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes, as far as the parents go, I mean, just be honest, if you can't help, you can't help. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just best to sit back and be a parent and, just support.
Yeah. Bean, I got a question for you. All right. As the person who's running the podcast, reaching out, like trying to get information out there, like what are you looking for each week into the wrestling season that you want to bring like to this audience here, like as far as highlighting kids, like agenda, like what's the mission behind this? Like what do you want to see going forward, like when it comes to talking to kids? What age group do we want to talk to? Like I think like with this podcast, it's something that we can run all the way through our youth program and up, like, and get a perspective from a lot of different coaches. And I just want, like, from you who's just kind of here managing a lot of it, I want to hear your perspective.
Well, it kind of changed from when it first started. I didn't really want to talk to any kids at all. I didn't want parents to get mad at me for whatever reason. There's always that opportunity for somebody to put their foot in their mouth. I'm on the receiving end of it, where I can filter some of that out. But kind of continue on with that. Then we got into football season and we started going, and Coach Baker said to me a couple of times, hey, well, what about we get the players of the week, on and stuff like that. And we just never really pulled the trigger on it. And by the time I was ready to, it was like the season was over. It just flew by. So now, kind of the group I'm looking at, the high school kids, we're going to have Wrestlers of the Week again, correct? We're going to continue to do that.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good opportunity to get them on different point of views. I think there's a lot of different storylines that we could talk about. Let's kind of go from there. But every week I think it's very important. Like this one specifically, I want to close it out with you talking about upcoming events. You know what I mean? With what's going on this weekend with Shawnee Duels and Blanchard. It's kind of get the parents hyped. This is a big year for us. I feel like, especially with going into the Geary Tournament. I just think it's a big year for us, and I think we should do our best to push out all information and make sure everybody knows where to go and where to watch.
I think that's kind of where I was getting at is like our audience with this. I want it to be everyone's parents. I want it to be all the kids on the team. I want them to hear what we have going on, what we have going forward, and want to give their perspective. Once we get to a point in the season, there'll be time where we ain't running with no kids right now. Things aren't going great. Or even when things aren't going great, that might be a good time to bring a kid in and talk and just see what they want to talk about and get that out there, and
there's some good parents I think we should have on too. We had a couple, during football season with Ryan Donnelly and then Jared Williams, I think it's a good opportunity as well to, get some parents on,
Get Mike on here.
Get Mike and Ritson.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great opportunity, just putting our target audience out there and talking about our team. And I don't care. We can talk about our vulnerabilities and, what we have going forward and our competition. If they listen in and hear what we're talking about, that's fine. We're trying to promote within ourselves and give our kids an outlet beyond Elgin wrestling. These kids they're not only going to get recruited in wrestling, all of them will get recruited in wrestling that are successful in here, but we have kids going on D1 football recruits. We have kids going on baseball recruits. We're everywhere as far as that. We just want to highlight our athletes every way possible. And if this picks up outside of the Elgin area and people hear it, we want them to share it with coaches and college coaches and people that are in on it, because Elgin's really good right now in a lot of different things, football, wrestling. We'll go to baseball and track and be successful. Basketball will be successful this year. I don't know, just this is a good tool and a good outlet for that.
No, I definitely think it is. Even now with the views that we get on the podcast, it's national. I'm assuming a lot of it's military as well, but there's people from all over the world that's listening to it. Gives people a different point of view.
Get our kids a little media ready too, because we got highlighted last year at Dual State, and some kids got in front of the cameras and they throw cowboy hats on and talking like it's their first rodeo.
My mom, she got on to me because I was hitting a little sleigh while I was talking. I didn't even realize.
You were on the news?
Yeah,
I was elated.
I wonder why we don't get a ton of media coverage as far as wrestling coverage. And we're down south, so I get a little bit of that, and there's not a ton, but yeah, they got in front of that camera last year, didn't know how to act, a lot of them, and it didn't help. We threw some kids that probably didn't need to be in front of the camera.
We're laughing in the background of Ritson talking on the news.
Yeah, and then my kids are out there warming up to Neon Moon and cowboy hats, and that's something.
Cody, you want to close now on this upcoming?
Upcoming here. So I don't know, I've been stressing all weekend, just getting ready, and asked my wife, who is really about to go through it the next few months, if any coach's wife knows, and I love her to death, but we just argue over I like to get scheduled this time of year really, really well. I like to just have my stuff scheduled out, because I feel a lot of kids depend on me this time of the year, and I feel a lot of adults depend on me this time of the year, and so they opinionate on me too, but they depend on me, and so I try to schedule things the best I can, and when things start getting out of whack, I kind of freak out still, because I'm not a grown up yet. I can't control my emotions, and that's good and bad. So that's when you see me spaz out a lot, on kids or on things, it's just because I feel our time's being wasted. And if you see our wrestling practice, we practice for an hour and a half normally. I try to get kids in and out. So the way I structure time makes sense in my mind, but not to everybody else. But my wife, now I'm getting on a tangent there, but she puts up with a lot when it comes to that. But going forward here, we have Blanchard tournament this weekend. That's a high school tournament. We'll take all of our high school kids that have been in here practicing and are eligible and healthy and doing things right. We'll take them and like we'll go and compete, try to do well in that, but also use it like as a ranking match system. Lots of kids will wrestle each other. Kids will wrestle up weights here. I'm not too concerned with them being down. I just want them to get in there and get some matches underneath them. And that's both boys and girls, high school. And then the junior high will go to Shawnee duels. We'll send the majority of our freshmen to Shawnee to wrestle in the dual team with the 7th and 8th graders. And they'll go compete in that, like the toughest dual tournament in the state. Like, we did pretty well last year. I think we finished, top 8 last year. Ended up winning, like, the second pool, I think, would put you, like, in 8th place overall or 7th place, which is not bad. You know, that was our first year in it. So we'll try to compete well this year. And after that, we'll kick off with a duel on the 7th, I believe, against Weatherford. That's a Thursday night. And then we'll have our junior high tournament here on the 9th, which is a one-day junior high tournament on Saturday, 7th, 8th, and some 9th graders will wrestle in that. And then come back and finish those last 2 weeks with Santa Fe South duel here at home, be our home opener. We'll go to Altus for a duel, and then we'll go to Weatherford for a 2-day tournament. And then we'll finish on the 19th with Comanche at a duel at Comanche against Little Brother right before Christmas. And then we'll take some time off for Christmas, come back, prepare junior high kids, 15U kids for JOC, prepare high school for Geary Tournament. Go time, second semester, but it'll be good.
The final words for me is I'm just going to keep it short. You know, the eyes on this coming weekend with the Shawnee duels. You know, a lot of it's too is, you know, we got to go last year. Dax went, he couldn't wrestle in it because we obeyed the rules of 7th through 9th.
Yes.
You know, we obeyed the rules.
We obey those rules.
So it was, you know, Dax had to go and watch. So I'm excited for him to get out there and actually get to compete in the Shawnee duels this year. There's always some good competition there, you know, for, a junior high tournament, dual tournament. It's
the best of the best.
Yeah, it's the best of the best. So that opportunity, I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah, short, simple. You know, I'm excited for this year. I love wrestling with all these boys in here. And in goal, back-to-back dual state, back-to-back individual. And I just hope my peers can get up on there. I think we got several state champs in this. And, just excited.
Yeah, same. Excited for this week. You know, our first tournament back after a long break of just not competing. So everyone is going to get a good run through some matches. And yeah, excited for this year, honestly. It's going to be a good year. Like I said earlier, we're at the point, it's legacy building time, not just, you know, we need to go win because we haven't had it before. We've had it before. So now it's just time to build on that and repeat it and really just make Elgin wrestling a name, like a big name in the whole state of Oklahoma. So it's going to be a great year, and I'm really excited for it.
Wrestling-wise, like, I'll take this 2 ways. Wrestling-wise and, like, coaching-wise with these kids, like, my goal is to push these kids and teach them, like, this year that, yeah, we can go out and be successful, but and compete at the highest level and have setbacks. Like, I want us to compete with the best of the best this year and, like, to learn from those losses. And because there'll be losses, but also, like, we're going to have big wins throughout that. Kids are going to do spectacular things. Our kids rise to the level that they go out and wrestle. So, like, I'm excited to see that. So, like, I just want to see them grow as a team and mature and develop. And I just want to be, like, a sound and good enough coach to, like, provide every avenue I can for them to learn as wrestlers, you know, to get my staff in all the right positions to help them grow as wrestlers, and just to help always remind them, like, it's a long season, and in the end, we're going to be there to compete when it's time to go. And then, like, just personally, like, I want to grow my relationship with all these kids in here. Like, Symphony's last year, I want to enjoy it with her. Like, we've been through a lot. Like, I love her a lot. She means a lot to me. I want our relationship to be well this year, you know, no matter what happens, like, win or loss, like, she's going to be someone I depend on the rest of my life, and, like, vice versa. And then with, like, Ritson, like, kids like that, I want our relationship to grow. I want us to push each other and not be content, like he said earlier. Like, if I'm just content with, like, Ritson going out there and wrestling low-level competition and beating on them, not giving him everything he needs. Like, I need to push him through those situations, and I want to be like that with every single kid, every kid on the team. So, like, that's just my goals for the year. Enjoy it, and yeah, just have a great year. And like I said, probably more than anything with this podcast, just bring more awareness to our kids. Like, take the media into our hands. Like, we do get good coverage here and there from certain people, but like, not like I feel like our kids should be covered. You know, I feel like we should be highlighted a lot more. And here's our opportunity. We can do that. Like, you've built a good audience, and we trust the audience to help spread that out.